depends though.
Yes.
It depends a lot, but it also is like if you come in a certain way where the only thing that they can do is market you instead of telling you how to make music or what kind of music you make, then you might have a shot. So is it saying like, because that's why it's always easier for them probably to sign artists that not necessarily know how to sing, because then they can make those songs that work. But if you're a far developed person with an extra like with an own sound, like for example when Drake came, like he sound like his shit was different, even though he sounded like Wayne, like his music was different. So it's like they just had to go with what he was doing. So you actually become the master of what you're doing instead of them telling you what to do. You know what I mean?
That's the shit that I'm really trying to like look for. But anyway, welcome to Low Frequency.
Yes.
We below industry, below media, below politics, but we talk about all of it. This is an open space, not for the closed-minded. So with that in mind, this is episode, I want to say, this is episode 8. Is it 8? This is episode 7. It's got to be episode 7. I think it's episode 7.
You gotta know, man. You gotta know.
Anyway, this should have popped up. But anyway, I'm here with my bruv, Dygo, man.
Yes. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah,
it's
bro,
been a minute. You know, it's been a minute. We've been talking about this, and we're finally doing it, man. So, thank you, man. Thank you.
Fellow artist, fellow musician, son has done most of the things that artists hope to do. It's like he's like the guy that made it to a certain extent and is able to tell you if it was worth it. You know?
Still worth it, because there's way much more to see, man. There's way more things that I haven't seen, so it's like it is worth it, man. It is worth it. Just do it with the right reasons, that's all.
Alright, producer. And with that being said, I wanted to ask you some shit regarding production and shit like that. So when you working, like, because I was thinking about this shit, because I'm not like a producer, so whenever I'm like looking for beats and shit like that, I don't necessarily like, I care, but I don't necessarily care on as to like who is behind it necessarily. I care like how it sounds, right? So I was wondering, if you about to do a song and you like scouting for like another producer that makes beats and shit like that, right? If you scouting for that shit,
right.
do you care if they like your shit, like your beats? Like, say if they don't know that you're a producer, but like along down the lines they listening to your music and shit, and they like, yo, like who produced your shit? Like that shit is like off or whatever the fuck. Like they don't like the production behind it. Would that hinder, like, and it's like, say like you like their shit, that's why you even talking to them. Would that like stop you because they like, and it has nothing to do with your artist side, because they like, yo, like you're dope,
right?
But they just don't like the production. Would that make you like not want to fuck with them, like the production side, like?
Not at all.
Would producer Dygo be like, nah, I don't fuck with him, son?
No, not at all. It would either do two things. It would be one, it would be inspired to make better things.
Okay.
That would they would like, that would be one thing. Or number two, I would help them find what they need, because that's why I'm a producer. It doesn't necessarily mean that if you do what I do, that you have to be on the keys or that you have to make the beat, right? If I find you and you have a dope sound, or you have a dope voice, I already in my head, I already should have other people beside me.
Yeah.
I should have other people that I know that I can link you with, that can make you sound better than you already sound. You know, I can say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna take you to this guy, or I'm gonna take you to this girl. She sings like this, or she sings like that. I think she can teach you so and so and so. You know what I mean?
Have you ever had to tell somebody that you don't like their production?
Probably, but I don't remember it.
That shit gotta be hard, man.
I mean, like, Yeah, well, I don't think it's that hard because I don't remember it. It should be it should be just a regular thing to do. Like I know as an artist,
That
like,
shit is hard for like
a lot of people are sensitive about their music,
because it's hard for me to say that I don't like someone else's like music. Like I would be like, oh, like yo, that was that was cool, that was cool.
I mean,
like,
you could also just be quiet. You know, I mean, you can either do that. I mean, that would be my advice. Just be
it's
quiet.
hard for me to say, yo, that's trash.
Unless the person asks you, okay, well, just do this. If the person asks you to like for an advice, like well, listen to this, right? Is this dope or whatever it is? Always try to be the most honest as you can. Even though if you're a little lying, just be as honest as you can be. What if
it's someone close to you? Like, what if it's like a relative or a close friend?
Then it should be better to be honest from the jump. You shouldn't even want to think about lying when it's your relative. That's crazy.
But you know, some people is like, I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
No, I don't care.
You know,
at this point, you should. I mean, if we're speaking of relatives, like if it should be a relative, then no, you should not even be worried about hurting their feelings because anything that you say has a positive meaning to it.
Do you think, like, so you basically saying you would rather them like, yo, I didn't like that shit?
Yeah, because I want people to do that to me too. I don't want to lie to somebody so that they can lie to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm real to them, even if it hurts their feelings, they're gonna look for something bad to say next time I'm gonna ask them for advice. If it's good, then it will say, I know you was talking trash about me, but your stuff is good. You know what I mean?
I was just about to say, what if down the line, like that same song that they said, like, oh, that shit was like, I don't like it. That's not for me. That shit pops, and then like later on down the line, they're like, yo, remember that song that you did? Yo, that shit is fire. Yeah. Like, how do you feel then? Like, do you feel like they just jumping on the bandwagon? Or...
Yeah, they're just jumping on the bandwagon because it's popular.
So you're saying it's not possible to like not like a song and then like it later? That has happened.
You can. Yeah,
right?
I've had a number of songs like that came out that I listened to at first and I was like, yo, this is garbage. And I was like, for example, the you know the J. Cole song with Future, no, not Future, with Young Thug. There was a summer they played it the whole summer.
That London shit, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard it the first time.
Travis Scott.
Right, Travis.
Yeah.
I heard it the first time. I heard the chorus and I was like, nah, this is way too low register. Like, how you keeping the energy up? And I was like, I didn't even listen to the whole song. I just heard the hook and I was like, nah, come on, Jay. Like, I expect more. Because, you know what I mean? And it was like, I don't even know what happened. Maybe like 2 or 3 weeks later, I came home and I played it on the speaker. Like, I have a small speaker. And I was mind blown. Like, because I put it in the bathroom. Like, you know how the sound is different?
Yeah,
the sound
like
is different.
And
I was like, yo. And like from that moment straight, like I still have it in my playlist. Like,
so what's the odds of that happening? Like, cause like obviously that can happen. Like you can hear a song you not liking it.
Yeah, but also, sorry, before you go on.
No, okay,
I think what also has to do with it is that it's the promotion too. You know, I mean, it's constantly everywhere. You know, it's constantly promoted. And
sort of
constantly
comes on your head.
Yeah, not even that. Like, cause I didn't remember the lyrics, but I remember the cover and seeing the cover every time when you're on YouTube.
See that cover everywhere,
you see what I'm saying? So eventually you're gonna give it a try again. So I think that also has to do with it because it wasn't like I was somewhere outside and I heard somebody play it and then fell in love with it. No, I turned it back on again. I was like, let me go check it. Also, I like J. Cole a lot, so I was like, I can't do that to my boy. Let me, you know what I mean? Let me hit back and see what happens. And yeah,
that's a really good way of thinking about it. I never looked at it like that. Like,
you know,
beyond like sonically, like you don't have to. There's a different way that you can like get something to be stuck in someone's head beyond sonically, like beyond hearing something a bunch of times.
Right.
Like usually that's like the number one thing that they would run to. Like, oh, if we get it played everywhere, they bound to love it. Like,
yeah, that's with a lot of songs, and we know it. There's a lot of songs that are not
that
good.
aspect I've never like. That's like rare. Like, oh, it wasn't the sound that caught me. It's just like I kept seeing the cover. It was almost like I
It was a nice cover.
It was.
It's a nice cover.
It was. I remember.
It was a nice cover, and I kept seeing it. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
You know, so they picked the right color to spark whatever psychological meaning it had. You know, and but those are good points. You know, I mean, these are professionals, so they know what to do. Like they know how somebody looks at it, and they know how colors affect different people. You know.
Yeah.
So it has to do with that too.
Fucking Ye, I remember Ye. He was saying that shit at one point. He was saying like, yo, like people like they see like people could close their eyes and they
see colors.
Yeah, they may see that shit, but he's like, I see sounds.
Yeah.
Like, and that shit really stuck with me. I was like, that is some otherworldly shit.
Yeah.
To say that you see sounds when you close your eyes, that sounds crazy.
Yeah, it is.
to really wrap your head around, because it's like,
imagine
the science of it, because it's like, I remember I was talking to my boy, and I was like, yo, the crazy thing about like speech and like language and shit, it's like, essentially we all are instruments.
Yeah.
Like we go into the booth and shit, like, because we was talking about music or something, and I was like, we go into the booth and we sitting there rapping and shit like that, but like we're learning how to use the instrument of our voice, like
without even knowing we're doing.
Yeah, like it's like I was
like,
like,
not using it like that if you think about it.
I was like, when they implement robots to speak, I was like, when you look into the code of that, that's just beep, 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 stacked a whole bunch of times in different patterns to get it to say hi.
Wow.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like.
So it's a sound.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like.
It's an instrument.
Yeah. So if you probably dig, there's way more science within that shit. So if you dig more into that, that probably does make a lot of sense of when he say he can see sounds.
Yeah, but I think you'll probably like know these things more or learn more if you do stuff like yoga or meditation, because that's where they kind of learn or teach you how to speak, like within tones and how to comfort, you know, certain feelings or energies. Stuff. So like they learn about that type of stuff. Like
you ever got into meditation?
I never did. I met people who do, but it never sparked me or to like oh, let me try that or whatever.
The people that you met that do it, do they seem like well adjusted?
They seem, they're always open to talk. Like, you know what I mean? Like they don't like it's
not too busy.
No, but it's mad weird. Like they're always open to talk, and it's like even at certain points where I wasn't even talking or wanted to talk, it always seems like they seem that you always want to spark a conversation about how you feel. You know what I mean? Which is very comfortable. Yeah. Which I accidentally run into, like with accidentally ran into that.
That's gotta mean something.
And I was just like, you know, you was really cool about that. Like that's gotta random.
Like, that gotta mean like that has some sort of a like positive effect on our body.
Definitely.
Like doing all of these spiritual ventures, like people that do yoga. And what do you think about people that's like vegan and like vegetarian and shit like that?
It has a good thing to it, but I think like if I was to done it, I would've. I mean, I guess I would just do it for health reasons. But like,
so you think it don't have no effect like with you spiritually, mentally, and things like that?
Probably, but
a small effect.
I think it has a whole lot to do with it, but it's not. I'm not gonna say it's safe to say because I've never really got into it. You know, like I used to work on a farm and I raised chickens, and it never inspired me to stop eating.
But
meat.
I know you had yeah.
So it's like, if I was to do that, like,
but what you never had relationships with the animals, because they always say like people that's like closer to it, because like
they become like you see them all the time. They come in when they're babies. It's like you get attached to them.
Yeah. So
it's like what does that make me? Yeah, but what does that make me as a person to still have that and still eat that? Like I thought it would have sparked something, because it took me a year where I was off of that.
Yeah.
I was like, a year, like straight up year, like where I was like, nah. I'm not eating this.
Because it's like, that's wrong. You felt it was wrong?
Yeah, but like even before that, I thought it was wrong. But then you see it.
Because your relationships with animals, just animals in general, it felt like, let's not do that.
Great. Yeah.
Right?
But then again, like you go back to it, and then why? What it has to do with comfort, or because it's just easy. You know, if you think about if you're thinking about the way that you live, you know, you go to work, you're always busy. Like, do you really have time to, you know, pinpoint what you're eating in a difficult schedule that you live in?
Because the shit that they be going through, the ones that be really strict, the fucking schedules that they be having to do, the little things they be eating, kale grass and shit like that, I be really wondering, like, all right,
is it really necessary?
Like, you may eat all of these things, and like on paper, you're full. That's what you're supposed to, like. Yeah, you took in all the necessary things that your body's supposed to like
need.
Yeah, it's supposed to consume for the day, and you're good. But do you feel satisfied? Like, do you?
I mean, I can't speak for nobody else, but you'll see some of them, and it's like, I don't think you could be happy. There's no way you're happy. Like, you don't look healthy.
Like when I eat a burger that I've been craving for a long time, that shit's like, it's something that needs to be said about.
It's like, you know? It's true, but like also, like if you want to do that, I think that there should be ways, which there are. Like there should be ways for you to clean out your body. Like some people do detox, right? Yeah. So like I say, okay, yeah, you can still eat this. But alright, let me end of this week, I'm a detox, and then take a whole week and not do that. Like if there's a certain type of balance that you can find and still get, I guess what you would call the nutrition or your vitamins, then you can do it. But then again, if we're just a different species of animals, and then you look at a gorilla, don't eat meat, but you know when that guy smack you, I don't know if you survive. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I saw this video of like this kid, right? It was a big ass fucking grizzly bear. Little ass kid. This kid must have been like 11 or some shit. And he was out there with his mom, right? And this kid was walking out of the like forest. I'm guessing he probably like went off to like use the bathroom maybe, because it didn't seem like he was gone from that long. He was walking back to his mom. She was recording. He's coming down the hill, and you know he's like all happy and shit. He's looking around and like, oh, happy, it's beautiful and shit. Fucking big ass grizzly bear is right behind him, bro. Like a few feet behind him, and like at first, I'm guessing it was there.
His mom didn't panic?
Not right when she saw it. I don't think she saw it, but I guess like we're watching it so we can see it. But I guess at the moment she was just looking at the kid.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing the bear was there for a while because it seemed like it stood up, and then that's when you could see like it was really close to him and shit like that. And then that's when you hear her like, oh, it's a bear, come. And then the kid turns around, right? The kid turns around, and then he looks back at the mom. And he's like, stop, shh,
yeah.
Shh. And then he just starts walking calmly over to the mom. He's just walking calmly down the hill, And then you just see the bitch just standing there looking at the kid walking down the shit. And then he starts walking down behind the kid a little bit, but not too close. And then the kid comes more closer to his mom, and they both watch the bear walk off on the hill.
Because he's not a threat. But if you would have run,
like if they started panicking and screaming and shit.
Then he's gonna come for you.
I was like, yo, that's crazy that little kid, man.
Knew that. Yeah. Smart that you knew that.
But yo, that I went off topic, but fuck it, I was watching Joe Rogan and shit, right? And he was talking about how he knows a lot of people that does fucking meditation and shit. That they do a lot of meditation and shit, and a lot of people that also do like with the vegetarian and
vegan.
Yeah, vegan. Yeah, I couldn't get that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah. The vegan and the people that's really strict about it. And he said when he did the because it's another like kind of thing that I guess is like becoming more popular and shit, and it's like a fucking carnivore diet. Like
which is
you just eat nothing but meat.
Okay.
Like nothing but meat. Like fucking meat for breakfast, meat for lunch, meat for dinner, right?
Yikes.
And he said he did that shit. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember too strong, but I think he said he did that shit for a year. But I do know for a fact that he was like, he never felt more healthier. Like after the diet, because he said he did it experimental, because a friend told him about it or he read about it or whatever. But he said after he did the shit, he felt like more resilient. He felt more faster, more smarter. He said he felt stronger. Like he wasn't like he didn't like. He said it was weird because
I mean, it could be a possibility because just like how we have liver and all that kind of stuff, like these things are attached to our brain. You know what I mean? So we like they all have different purposes. So if you eat an animal, whatever was in there had different purposes, and these things might work on you. You know?
like after I heard him say that shit really made me think like, yo, so essentially like you just gotta find what you like. Like you gotta find what you like and then find a category of that thing that's the most healthiest and stick to that thing, that regimen, and you should be okay.
That makes sense though. That makes sense. But also I think it's not a difficult topic to talk about, but I kinda like associate it a little bit with religion, because to me it's like
religion. What's that for those?
Like no religion, like
religion.
Yeah, religion. Yeah. So
what you mean, like?
Because it's like for example, going vegan, right? It's like they aspire a lot of people to do that, and then they have certain diets, and they tell you this is what you need to eat.
Yeah, you need to remember
right?
what you're about to say, because fucking Muslims, right? They don't eat pork, right?
Exactly.
So that's
where the topic is I'm going to.
Okay.
Like we are like everybody's different. We have different DNAs. We come from different part of the world.
I always
like
never really understood
parts,
why they never ate pork.
There's stories, I guess. I don't know what the correct story is, but like there's, for example, like people in Asia eat different than people in South America, right?
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah,
makes sense. So that's why I don't like sushi. People are like, oh, eat sushi.
Yo,
I'm like, look, that's what they do over there.
So many people I know love sushi.
For them, it's gonna work.
I tried it. Not for me.
Like, it's not even taste, because I haven't tasted. It's just the looks of it and the
Oh, you
culture
never tried it?
that it's attached to it is for me enough to be like, that's not for me, because that's for them. You know, it's good for them. It's gonna work for them, not for me. So with the like going vegan and being vegetarian, I feel like if you going to attach it to where you come from. And
Did you come over here? Did you come over here from the Netherlands with some shit from over there that you love, that you eat, that you started eating over here around people, and they was like, "What the fuck is that?"
No, I haven't had that yet. But no, I haven't. I haven't had that yet because you can't find what is over there here.
Yeah.
No. Like,
oh my god!
And also that's a whole different topic about coming. That's also one of the reasons I stopped eating meat.
Oh
like,
man,
it's different, man. Everything is different. Like from the chips to the water, you know what I mean? To even the sodas, even the chocolate. I don't eat chocolate anymore, bro. I don't eat chocolate. It's been like over a year. I don't eat chocolate.
It's not even the same.
It's not the same. It's weird.
Does it take
too much
pressure?
Yes,
over there?
but like there's certain products, right? There's certain sodas that I guess in the rule, like of the country, that there are certain things that they have in the drink that the country doesn't allow. So they'll take them out.
I never thought about
They'll take them out, and I only know that because in South America there is a soda that they also sell in the Netherlands, but in the Netherlands it's different because they took out certain parts of the drink because the country just doesn't legally allow these things.
Does it make it better or worse?
It makes it better.
Taking it out?
Yeah, it makes it better.
When you have it
for like health reasons, I guess.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
But
so you would say it's sort of like diet, but it's not diet.
Okay.
It's just like, okay, we decide that acid or whatever. Not saying acid because I mean it's in soda, but
Jesus
I can't specifically name what it is, but like there's certain parts in the rules that they don't allow.
That
in
shit
the
makes
country.
me. Bro,
And that's
that
when you
shit
come
really
here.
makes
Like
me,
I tell you, if I give you a Lay's chips from there and here, you're gonna die of the amount of salt that this country has. Like it is crazy.
bro, I was just about to say that really makes you think. Like the people that's deciding this, that's like, can you say that's
I
like?
say FDA, but
Can
and
you
they
say
approve
that's,
it.
Yeah, because like, can you say like that? As that's like a form of like, it can't be like racism, but it's like nationalism or some shit because it's like
it's a different form because you're
You're
the head
essentially-
of what people eat.
yeah,
So
you're
it's
essentially
like,
saying like,
if
yo, nah,
you
y'all can't
messing
have
up.
that.
But I mean, if you have a good intention with it, I'm not gonna research it. I'm not gonna find out why I don't want it, why I don't need that. America like that. America is like that. America's like, well, why can't I have that? I'm supposed to have everything I want. I should decide for myself if I want that amount of salt.
I think that's something
You know
that
what I
we
mean?
was. What
But-
is that? Why do we have that? Like
I mean,
people,
of
people,
course, it also has to do with the fact of how you represent your country throughout the world. You know
people
what I
in
mean?
the Netherlands, they don't question everything.
Not necessarily, because it's very comfortable.
Sometimes you just take it as how it is.
You take it as how it is because the outcome is good too. Like you don't
That's
feel
why
like
we
you don't
question
feel like you're
everything,
being
'cause everything
screwed or
is so-
whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe
But I mean,
because
if you live
everybody
in a
gets
country
screwed.
where there's mad conspiracies, then I
It's
would
so
be.
hard to trust anybody
Yeah, you
over
know what I
there.
mean? Like
Like everything you like. Nah,
the fact
man.
that you've never heard about the fact that people decide or take out certain ingredients in the food, like GMO. You know GMO?
Yeah, GMO.
Like this is like
But
that's
we
when you
just
know when
start-
you
they
eat when you
just
eat
started
Chinese
doing that
food,
shit,
you're always
yeah.
thirsty. That's that right there. But there's just salt, bro, which is not good for high blood pressure. You know what I mean? So if somebody decides and say, okay, all right, no more GMO, because you know we've seen in our graphics that this amount of people of this age are dying at such an age, which is too young, but we can prevent it by not. Then, sure.
I don't think that's the case. Is it?
That's not the case. But that should be your job, right? If that's what you do, allowing these things.
Even
you
if
know?
it's like, even if it doesn't save lives, like even if it's just like, yo, it's just a healthier choice to not put this in.
Yeah, that should
That
be a
should,
good
that
enough
should,
reason.
yeah. But they think about it like, yo, but all right, yeah. Like the person that's saying that, you always got how to antagonize it. Like the person comes in, the good guy or whatever the fuck, comes in, he says that shit like, yo, let's not add the GMO. Like we can help people healthier, whatever the fuck. And the guy that wants the GMO, he's like, yeah, but
You just
if
don't
you
need to
add
put
it-
too much.
he's
Just
like,
don't
yo,
put a little bit.
he's like,
you
if you
know?
add the GMO, people who
Or modify it.
do consume the GMO, they're 10 times more than likely to go out and buy something else that they'll have to water it down with. So that's an extra tax bracket.
Right there, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so
But they want to live with that.
yeah, like
But then don't
it doesn't
complain.
necessarily kill anybody, but it just adds an extra $250 on the tax bracket. And it's like, yo,
Well, who
why
gonna
would
pay
you
that?
say no to that?
Yeah.
Like, that's a little extra money. I mean, yeah, you can say no, but I'm just letting you know how much money you saying no to.
Yeah,
And then it's like,
yeah. But
that'll
that's
make-
what this country's based on. It's just
Yeah,
money, you
bro.
know?
So
Money
that'll
and
make
race.
people do that same shit. Any American.
Yeah.
Cause like that's like one of the main reasons why I want to like explore the world and shit. Cause it's like when you go around the world, you get to see how other places and countries were like fucking made and
Yeah.
like, how they get run
Yeah.
and like the people and like it's like oh
Culture is
shit.
just different, you know?
Like people like how you just said like America like niggas really be feeling entitled, huh? We really be feeling like we deserve this shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah.
Yeah.
You go around the world, it's like, yo, people are working 10 to 20 times harder. And they getting paid substantially less. And you complaining?
Yeah.
Because Steve at your job is a bit annoying?
Yeah, so it's little
that's-
things, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
bro. And
It's
you
little
like,
things.
like, you that upset, you like, yo, fuck it. I'm about to quit my job because of Steve. You like, whoa.
We ain't got time for that. Nah, we
You
ain't
look
got time
around
for that.
you look around the world and it's like people that's like putting up with craziness.
Yeah.
craziness for a lower pay.
Yeah,
and
because
like,
there's so much luxury here, which is what is great about this country. Like, I mean, there's so many loopholes, and I guess only things that you can like. I'm pretty sure that if you go to another country, you can see what they miss, you know, because of the experience that you have. So if you come in from a different country, you can see what people are missing because they are way too worried about things that aren't important to you.
everybody
If that
got
makes sense,
values, yeah.
you know.
Everybody got values and morals and things that drive them. And when you go around the world and shit, you could start, like, not all the time, but it could really happen where you talking to somebody and now your values and morals just seem very small.
They seem very small, yes. They seem very small. Yeah.
Like, oh man,
Just, yeah.
like, I thought I was, like, doing good. Like, I thought I wanted to do good. And you talking to this person and it's like, they're not doing good, but they have already done much more good. Like, now you're inspired by this person. You know what I mean?
Because
like,
you start to notice that you're like thinking out of luxury or privilege.
That's how people be coming back with these crazy ass stories. Like, yo, I was so inspired. When you telling the story, you're like, wait, but that guy worked at a post office?
Yeah.
He's like, nah, man, like, you had to be there or something. Like, yo, he just was happy, yo.
Just some regular stuff,
Yeah,
but you know, it all depends on what what you want.
Would you, like, if you get successful and shit, right?
Mm.
You're already successful in a sense, but, like, you know what I mean. So, would you make a lot of money and, like, vanish? Or would you, like, essentially still make more? Or would you feel like you still got an obligation to your fans to continue to drop songs? Or would you, like, make a lot of money? I was asking my boy about this, like, yo, do you think, like, it's, like, more of a... I don't think it necessarily relates to you, but it sort of. It relates to anybody that's, like, that does music in a sense, or does anything entertainment-wise.
Right.
Some people do it because that's the chase at the moment. And once they achieve it, it's no longer the chase. So it's
but
like,
you find it out when you're there.
Yeah, it's like, why would I continue? Like, well, there's nothing else I can chase, so I'm gonna start doing this. Or I'm gonna start doing that now. Or I'm gonna start traveling the world now.
Just to say now, I mean, I can't say that when I get the money I'll bounce, because like I've never seen a huge amount of money in my life. I don't know what's that gonna do to me. Maybe I'll get that much money that I'm like, I can never lose this. Like, I want to keep making more and more and more and more and more. But I just keep telling myself that I don't want to become that person.
The person that says that you want to make more and more and
more.
Yeah. So
like,
you want to make the money and dip?
I would not want to say that I did. But
dip is like Diego, he made a couple of good ass songs and he just left us.
I mean,
he ain't dropping the whole song.
If that's the way if that's the way it would go, like, you know how some people, they're like one hit wonders.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
If that's the way it should go,
but you could still drop.
And I take out with the money, then it's fine. But it's like I don't see myself retiring as a musician.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
I don't.
So no matter the amount of money you have, I would like
to stay in like I would be like satisfied with becoming a label owner, or even like a CEO for like Universal or whatever.
From sitting from that chair, you wouldn't want to hit the booth?
No, because then by that point I should already know that I'm done with it. Or maybe I would just executive produce, like stuff like that. You know what I mean? But
recording, no.
No, I would probably be in the process with the artist, but myself, I would not. I don't think so. I would probably have more fun putting a whole project together for you, for example. Like, look, I have C right here. Okay, I think, you know what, C? You need a band, and I'm gonna look for the people. You know what I mean? I said, yo, we're gonna like to an album.
So you saying there's a time limit to this?
Yeah.
To you being in the booth and shit like this.
Definitely. Like, I was already done with it this year. I told you that.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's a time limit to it.
Like you can see it. Like,
yeah, because my actual goal is not to, as I said, not to be the star. But if it happens, it happens. Because if that helps me to help other people become artists,
because
then
that's still
I'll do
not.
it.
So even if you do pop off of you being an artist, that's still not the goal.
It's not the goal.
Like how you just said, yeah, it happened, but that's still not the goal.
It's not the goal.
You wouldn't.
So it's
feel,
like I would. So I mean, I would be happy. Of course,
yeah, but
like,
you wouldn't feel obligated as an artist.
No, but I would do up to my responsibility. Like I'm not gonna let people down. You know what I mean? Like everybody wants to have that experience to go on a tour and everything. So I would definitely take that and be like, oh yo, this is great, and I'm thankful that y'all put me in this position to do this, and I'm gonna give back as much as I can and provide you with, you know, quality music at all times. You know what I mean? But at some point they're gonna have to understand that you grow up, you know, and that you want to do different things in your life. And
a lot of people get like that. Look at Ice Cube.
Exactly.
Like, you know, he went
His movies.
Yeah, he did the NWA thing. He did the Ice Cube by himself thing.
But you're growing up, you know. It's part of growing up.
Like, you know, different chapter.
Because people complain. They might complain and be like, "Oh, I want this back." Yeah. But I think it's better not to give it to them. Because once you give it to them, they get tired and they see that it doesn't make any sense, and you'll fall off. You know what I mean? You'll fall off. God. Because they start noticing that they grew up and what they wanted is actually not what they need.
I was looking at fucking MC Hammer, bro.
Yeah, who wants that?
I was looking at MC Hammer, bro, and I was looking at one of his music videos, and I was like, yo, this guy, he fucking had it all, bro. I was looking at one of his old music videos, and like, the production that was there, the amount of money that was spent making those videos. He had so many celebrities in his songs.
Yeah.
It's like, God. Because I was trying to think of like, who is the biggest fall off? That's what made me
That's
think
what they
of
say. Yeah, that's what
like,
they use him as a poster child.
Yeah.
The biggest
who's the biggest fall off? And like, that's who. Yeah, everybody uses MC Hammer, and I was like, I never really like watched like his music videos. Like I know about his songs and like his biggest hits, but I never actually like went and dived into his music.
I never did either.
Remember I told you like that's the sound I'm trying to do, so that's what I did. So.
I know that Jermaine Dupri had a lot to do.
Yeah, so
bro.
Yeah,
he's
like mad young.
Yeah, I've been doing this since 90. What is that? 92 or whatever. I'm like, oh shit, you did that?
Yeah,
I'm like,
so I'm watching and I'm like, yo, this is insane. Like it was Big Daddy Kane. It was all of these dope ass rappers that came out, right? Like fucking this guy Slick Rick and shit. All of these guys came out and they was like killing it. But when MC Hammer dropped, it was kind of crazy. I didn't know that. Like it was really kind of crazy. Like they all had little sketches of like all of these guys, like all of these top notch rappers talking about him. Like yo,
for real?
Yeah, like yo, it was like this guy like. When he was coming up, yo, like it was something serious. Like we all was like panicking. We was in our in our little boots. Like it was crazy, man. MC
so
Hammer,
he was
had
like,
everything.
it was
He
like
had
getting up and
everything.
scared.
And it's like I was like, God damn it, to be that far, like at his peak essentially, and to just drop. I don't even know.
There must be more to the story.
There has to be so much more.
Personal
for us
things,
to still,
business-wise.
for us to still be even talking about it.
Yeah.
It has to be so much more to the story.
Yeah.
Because that was a lot of money. He employed a lot of people.
Yeah.
And for him to just drop like that, the way it cut, the way the story is cut to us, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. It can't go down
which
like
is
that.
success, which is successful because that's probably the story that they want people to know. You know what I mean?
It's like the shit that sells. The shit that sells, man.
Yeah. You know, they're like, oh,
drama.
You can just do. After a couple of years, you can write a book or do it. No, I mean that's how they free, you know, so that you can get it after you paid all the money, or they let you do that to pay all the money. Oh, write this book or do this interview, and then you can please back. You know what I mean? Like this.
There was. Have you ever thought about any like stars, like musicians, like along the way, like while you was growing up, that you thought would like be more than they are now? Like
probably not, because I never met them, and I've never been like.
I thought
like,
Flo Rida, you know Flo Rida?
I like Flo Rida.
I thought Flo Rida was going to still be around, even today.
Yeah, but I think he's still doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah, because of the type of music he's making.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, the type of music he was making, I figured that was like, you can't get rid of that. I think he kind of solidified.
It's like Flow Rider and Pitbull. Like they have it's that same line
Pitbull.
right there. And it's like, but it's funny because both of the rappers I used to follow before, like when they were hardcore rapping. Like, you know what I mean? Like
when Pitbull had the braids and shit, I
like
didn't know that.
What is the guy name? Paul
Wall, with the grills.
Yeah.
Yo,
like
bro,
that was Pitbull was around there, like and it was fire though. Like
bro, I
always thought I liked it.
Bro, I swear I didn't know that. I only knew Pitbull from when he had the the nice cut, he had the suit, and darling.
No,
that's the only Pitbull.
Before that, like
he was
305.
He was really into the really rapping. Rapping.
I thought it was fire, and I still like what he does now.
He had a different flow when he was rapping. Like he don't rap. He didn't rap like how he rap now.
And what was
he
good,
didn't rap like everybody else.
And what was dope about him, he always mixed the Spanish in there. That's always what I liked about it. Like when he was spitting, like you do his bars, and then we'll get like Spanish bar in there.
And it didn't sound bad.
You learn about. No, it was dope. It was dope. And then even now, like, because what he does now, I just see that as a part as growing up. You just grow up. You can't be doing the same thing we did 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to hold on to that?
Grow.
Like, unless you really love doing that, then yes. But then it also has to do with your growth, like your mental.
Yeah,
because you don't want to hang.
It's always good to look back and be like, that was fun.
Exactly. You don't want to stay there mentally. Because you get older and you're going to look weird doing that. Yeah, because you're gonna
think
look
about
weird
it
doing
like, 5 years ago I was still doing this.
Because then you're gonna see that everybody around you is gonna change, and eventually you're gonna see that you still want to hang around with the people that were 10 years ago. Like that doesn't work. Like they have kids now, you know, like you know what I mean. Like they have lives. Like you can't be doing that. You know, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like. I remember not too long ago, I was talking to my boy, and he was telling me about he wanted to like be like a fucking DJ in a sense, but like he was doing this shit off the laptop and shit,
right?
And he was about to like I guess do a competition or whatever the fuck, and I don't know what happened, but he lost his laptop. Like, I don't know like how it happened or whatever the fuck.
At the spot at the competition or before that?
I think it was before.
Oh, okay.
I think it was before. Whatever happened, he had got a new laptop, but whatever was on the laptop wasn't on this laptop.
Yeah.
And that's what made him like he was like, yo, he didn't do the competition and shit. And I was thinking, and he was like. He's taking it as a sign, like maybe he shouldn't be doing that, and like he was feeling like he should do other things anyway, like he was doing other shit anyway.
I mean, explore.
Right, but I was when he told me that shit, I was thinking like, yo, some people really take things like differently. Like something bad can happen, and there are people that take it like, yo, this is for the better, and there's people that take it like, yo. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Like maybe this shit isn't for me. Like, and it's like, how many times do you have to fail before you be like, yeah, let me go to the next thing? I don't think there's a number to that. I think it just depends on what you want. It depends on what you want, and it also depends on like. I guess these things date back to the way you grew up, like your discipline and whatever motivates you, you know, from the smallest things. Like if you, for example, if you think about, let's say, how I was thinking about Clinton music, right? Like you have to start thinking about the simple things that you do. You know, you have to understand that there's people that don't, like how you get out of bed, you go brush your teeth, you go to the bathroom, is a regular thing. There's people that don't want to do that. It sounds funny, but there's people that don't want to do that. You know, the time that you take to fry yourself an egg and put it on a sandwich, there's people that don't want to do that. So now you have to compare yourself to those people and say, let's say you guys have the same goal.
right? And y'all hit a roadblock. Who is gonna keep going? Who's not?
It's a good way to put it.
Because if you can't do the simple things or don't feel like doing the simple things, how strong does your will have to be to actually achieve what you want to achieve? Because if it's hard for you just to put on a watch in the mornings, I hate this shit. Nobody forcing you to do it, but if you decide you want to do it, you have to do it. But if you're gonna complain while doing it, what is the point of doing it?
That's really good, because I know a lot of people that complain about things that they say they wanted to do.
But
And it's
never do
like, right? It's like they would be like, "Yo, I want to fucking go to the movies or whatever, right?" And
Sure.
they plan on going to the movies, and back when we could, right? But they plan on going to the movies and shit, and the movie start at 9 or whatever, right? And at 8 o'clock or whatever, they getting all panicky, like, yo, we gotta hurry, we gotta get to the movie, boom, boom. And it's like, you get to the movie, and it's like you picking at every little thing aspect before the thing that you saying that you wanted to do, and then after the movie, it's like, oh, that movie was whack.
Yeah, because you was worried about all the other stuff. You wasn't worried about the movie. You was worried about other stuff around.
Like, you know? And it's like, it really goes to like how you just said, like, if you can't do the simplest things, like go and watch a movie. If you can't do that in peace,
simple.
That kind of gives you a little small window into like how someone
could succeed.
Yeah, or how much they can like withstand.
Endure. Yes. Yeah. I think it has to do with that. You know, I'm not saying it's a factual theory, but I like people watching and everything. So like, as in probably that's what I get out of it while I observe. You know, that
pressure is a bitch. Pressure is a bitch, and people handle that shit so many different ways. Bro.
Yeah.
Like so many different ways. Like some people really get like they really feel like claustrophobic. Like I felt like y'all was like on top of me. Like everybody just shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
And then around you, like the people around you are like, what are you talking about? We just.
Have you ever met anybody that like, you know, they could be in a debate or a heated argument, and you could be like, yo, calm down. Don't tell me to calm down.
Oh yeah,
calm down.
I mean, yeah.
It's like,
it's like, yo, chill.
What
like,
do you think that is? Like that they get more mad when you tell them, yo, relax.
I don't know what that is, because it's like I think is that, but I mean I do that a lot, because if you work in customer service, you kind of know how to counter that. I think it has to do with that when. That's probably one of the reasons I don't get angry, because it's like, if I want to be like, if I'm angry, I want to finish being angry. You see what I'm saying? Like, if that makes sense. I don't want to get interrupted. I don't want somebody to cut me off while I'm still angry. Like, if I decide to punch somebody in the face, I need to punch you. Don't stop me in the middle and be like, no, you can't do that, because I will still find a way to punch you, because that's what I feel like. I need to like be done being angry. So when you tell a person to calm down, that's probably what it is. Like, they're not angry. That's like every time when you have they're not done being angry. Every time when you have a conversation with somebody's angry, you have to pay very, very good attention. Like you should not fall in that trap. Never. When they yell, don't yell at them. Just wait till they finish. Just wait till they finish, and then just state your point very calm. They're gonna start noticing after a while. Even if they keep yelling at you, there's either gonna be two things. They're gonna leave, one, or two, or their voice is gonna calm down too. Because they're gonna be like, no, it don't make no sense to scream to this guy, because he not on my level. I'm not getting what I want. You know, so it's like it.
So you think we get something from a scream off?
Yeah, I mean, it's satisfaction.
People screaming at each other. There's something that we get from that.
Yeah, sometimes it's satisfying. Like yeah. If you have something on your chest, like some people scream, some people cry. You know, it's a way of like letting go of your emotion.
Do you think it's unhealthy to not do any of those things? Like, say if it's like, yo, I don't I'm not about to scream, like, and I'm not no fucking cry baby.
I think it's unhealthy, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's unhealthy. Like, I think even me, like, personally, if I look at it, like, I think I could have done those things more. Like, you know, I think it's unhealthy of me not to do these things or not to never be angry. Because I'm a human being, you know what I mean? Like, people piss you off, but I think personally, for me, like, I've developed such a way with words to where if I feel like somebody's coming at me, I will let them know, like, in the way that I talk, that I'm not cool with it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a different, like, layer of before I'm using my emotion. You know what I mean?
I started thinking that shit too, because the more I started reading and the more I started learning things, I started like picking up more words. That's what happens when you read, right?
And it's so much better because it's like
you can express yourself more.
Way better,
and
yes.
When I'm talking to people and it could be getting into an argument, I can notice that people that don't really have the proper way of expressing themselves, they often go to that aggravated like banter to where it's like, yo, fuck what you saying.
Yeah. No, it's because it's an easy way out. It's an easy way out, and you see those conversations mostly when it's about race. Like, you see those like, those are the most interesting conversations. You know, when you see a white person and a black person in an argument about something, and from the moment the N-word starts around, you should already know he's saying that or she's saying that because they lost. They lost the conversation. They lost everything, so they're gonna try to hurt you now. That's that. So like, those are the things. Like, if people knew these things, like, I think it's way better to know these things because before that even happens, you can anticipate. Like, if you work in like customer service, you can kind of know, like, you should be the person who directs the conversation instead of them directing the conversation.
That's like, but really, like, do they teach that shit in college? Socialism?
I am not sure if they do. I'm pretty sure you can read it somewhere,
right?
But they do teach it.
There's ways that we find. Yeah. It seems like you find out all of these things through trial and error.
Yeah, like, because people watch.
A lot of the best like things about life, like, you pick up through like fucking
people,
fuck ups and
and kids.
Shit and experience and
kids. No, kids. It's like people don't realize how valuable it is to actually be around kids. Like, it's better to be around kids than to be around people of your own age, because like they worry about bullshit all the time. And with kids, you learn every damn day, every second.
Or old people.
Or old people, depending on depending on what they've been through in their life. Because I have been around and I've worked around some of them that were more stupid than me. You know, no disrespect, but
but it's like the shit that they've been through. Sometimes there isn't such thing as being too fucking scarred and fucking going through too much and like being set in your ways and like not understanding how things are going. There's a lot of older people that feel like things were better back then.
Yeah.
Like, now things are getting worse, and anything that's happening now is just adding to that fact. So there's no point.
Yeah, but you're making it harder for yourself because you're making life harder for yourself. Why don't you just try to take the good things out of whatever it is right now and just move on?
I like to speak to the older people that you know that things change, man. Like, yo, the people that be really getting to me be the people that be fucking so comfortable with death, yo. That be the shit that be like, yo.
What?
That gets to me because I don't know if I'm ever gonna be in that mindset.
So like that you're okay with it?
Yeah, like, you know how people like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I've heard people say that.
I'm not.
Sometimes I just want to go to sleep and not wake up and like be with God or whatever
like,
they say.
Yeah, like, when you talk to people like that and you just have full conversations and deep ones at that, man, I was thinking about that shit.
Deep.
Let's think about that shit. Like, would I ever quit? Like, even after I make the money, even then after, like, I do a lot of the things that I wanted to set out to do, like, what I fucking, like, just say, yo, that's it. And I always feel like it's a calling. I will always want to experiment. And, like, I care about, like, I fucking care about, like, touring and, like, doing all of these things. Like,
if I don't have to, I mean, as I said earlier, like the experience everybody wants to have. So it's like,
right.
Sure, like if I can, like for example, like you know how they get the actual record deal where they do the whole nine, where you get the money up front and you tour. The experience would be dope, and then like I would go into that experience specifically for that. So like I wouldn't be worried about people like, yeah, but that's a bad deal, that he's stealing your money, this and that. I made up my mind that I went there for that experience. You know what I mean?
I wanna like, one of my biggest goals is to like go diamond. Like one of my songs go diamond.
Mm-hmm.
That shit would take mad long.
But I mean, like, would you be the guy that would go to like the Grammys and VMAs or whatever? Like, would you do that?
Hell yeah. That's like
I wouldn't even be mad if I missed it.
That's all iconic shit because I remember how I felt as a kid watching all of these shits. I grew up watching all of these shits, the BET Awards,
Right.
Hip Hop Awards, Soul Train Awards, all of these shits. I grew up watching all of these fucking award shows.
So you see all these broke.
And it's like, yo, and it wasn't always the plan, like, yo, I'ma get there.
Mm.
But once I started like chasing this shit, I was like, yo, that'd be such a cool opportunity. It'd be such a dope feeling being able to sit there on stage and being able to like, yo, this shit really happened. And
I just see that as an upgrade to your pay.
I want to travel the world, right? I want to be able to be like, my music brought me here, right? I want to start a family somewhere down the line. And I want to be able to look back all the way down and be like, yo, that song that I was writing kind of sparked all of this shit. Like, because I came up with the idea, like, yo, my wife, the girl that I'm gonna marry and all of that extra shit, she's fucking across the world, right? And if I want, and if I am, like, if it's written in the clouds and the stars that C is gonna be a parent, that's the only way. I have to get there.
True.
Right? I really set that type of goal to where it's like, that's the only way that it'll happen. And if I really truly want it, that's the only way I can get it. So I'm not settling for any other fucking thing that's around me, essentially. Like, my music has to take me. Like, I want to be able to talk to my kid about, like, yo, I had an idea, yo. And I showed him, like, a CD or some shit. And I was like, imagine this CD was like a rocket. It was like a spaceship. I was thinking about that shit in my room.
Sick.
And imagine this spaceship could take you anywhere. And I made that happen. That's how you
That's
do it,
sick.
bro.
Yeah, that's sick. That's
Like,
just such a dope idea. You can make a whole movie with that.
You know
like
what I mean?
for the kids, like make it possible that. But when you're talking about it right now, it's a magnificent thing. Like, it's a great thing for a song to take you all over the world, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Like,
Because it's
you
like,
know?
that's what it is. It has, and if, a few, like, give me like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Like, if you could do some shit, but like, I would inspire anybody to feel like that about anything that they're chasing. Like, yo, if you fucking want to be a lawyer or some shit. Because, like, I was thinking, like, I was telling my boy, like,
Which can take you all over the world.
yeah, everything that if everybody's not perfect, right? Like, we all know this. Like, that's just a general fact that we all know. Like, nobody's perfect, we all say this. So if we all know that, wouldn't you think the odds of you really making a difference being that you, like, they always say opposites attract and shit like that. That's another one. So it's like, when you think the odds of you making a real difference being you mixing with something that's of nothing of what you're used to. Like, essentially, like, two people born in the same spot, right? How can you solve the problem rather than one of you leaving this spot
and coming back?
You get me?
Yeah.
That's how.
Unless you find a way to go together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's where, like, that's
But that's
where.
not how it works.
No. That only doesn't work if you're trying. This is just personal. I just feel like that only doesn't work if you're chasing something regarding media.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's damn near impossible to do it with a significant other to get our product to get us across the world.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so many stories, but there are a lot of stories where they did it. Like, you know, them two stuck it out. They went through the bullshit. They may have broken up. They may have came back together, but they did it and they made it. That type of story is fucking possible, but it's like it's fucking once in a million.
Yeah.
And
Well, let me ask you a question. So, because for example, let me say we're talking about music, right? If in this industry you're trying to make it through. So, would you like to have somebody that does exactly the same thing, like as a girl that does the same thing, and for you to make it together? Is that what you would like? Is that what you would want to be like?
that's not something that like I want, right? That's not something that I want, but it's not something that like I'm pushing against. Like, oh, I don't want that shit. Like, it's not something like I'm like, yo, I gotta find another artist because that's the only way they're gonna understand me.
I highly push against it.
Like, you know, like, because I feel there's pros and cons to every scenario that you're in.
All the time.
Like, you know?
Because you're in such an... I don't want it specifically because you're in such an industry that everybody is an opportunist. Everybody that you meet is a step closer to your career. Now, if you're with somebody, right, who finds somebody that's better than you, you're gonna go there. And I would not even blame her for that. You know? No, this is like, I would not be like, yo, this is a whole blah, 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 this and that. Like, I wouldn't even blame her for that because
especially
that's
if you know
the
the
industry.
business,
Yeah, because that's the industry where we are in. Like, that's just gonna happen. I would have done the same thing. Like, everybody's looking for an opportunity. Once you're gonna ride with somebody till a certain point, maybe this road takes you all the way, but that's not always the case. You know what I mean? There's always gonna be somebody that's better. You know, which doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to get more success because they could be using her too. You know, and then eventually I'll make it and she'll try to come back.
That's a really good
fucking...
example.
Yeah, because of those reasons, I highly, like, I'm so against it. Like, I would be so happy with somebody that wants nothing to do with it. You know, that don't have no talent, no singing, no acting, no... Maybe it's a selfish way of saying that. Maybe selfish. But
I thought about shit like that too, in a sense where it's like, I thought about like, yo, it'll be dope to have, because I thought about careers that I've maybe thought about that I would want if I wasn't in this, right?
Yeah,
I was thinking like, yo, if I met someone that was a teacher, like a girl that was a teacher, like fucking third grade, fourth grade teacher, some shit like that.
Super great.
It's like, I started, because before I would think like teachers is teachers, right? But like me growing up and really thinking about that career choice.
Some serious stuff, bro.
It's probably, bro, I honestly started thinking like, yo, that's probably the most noblest job.
Serious, bro. Ever. You know how great it is if you can have somebody like that and have the job that you have?
Yeah.
And then just come home to that?
Yeah.
Like, you know how she's going to nurture you like that?
It's just all, it's such a humanizing thing.
Exactly.
She's like, I'm like, yo, I had a crazy day. And she's like, oh, like, yo, Josh was bad.
Yeah, he peed on the floor. Like, really? Oh, shit.
Like, you know, it's like small things. It's like really small things. But
he said Josh was bad.
Yeah.
That's what he be doing, yeah.
Like, and it's like, but that job, to choose that job and to find happiness in that, that speaks a lot in your character.
Yeah. No, true, man. That's not a job you should do for the money. Like, oh yeah,
That's
I'm just
what
trying to
I'm
make money.
saying.
Or like, oh yeah, you know, schools have a lot of vacations,
What?
so I'm just gonna work in the school and every summer vacation, you know,
Bro,
Christmas.
The ones that stick it out, it's like, yo, you are a nice person, yo.
Yeah.
Like in your core, you really are. Because it's like no teacher ever gets paid the amount that they should for the shit they get going through. And it's like, yo, you still here? Like,
and you said third grade. Like, imagine you go to high school.
yeah,
like,
high school is insane.
Jesus, you already know how you was. I know how I was. So
I remember being in high school, finishing a year, and it was a crazy year. Coming back the next year, like, yo, damn, you still here? It was crazy. I thought you was gonna be gone after that. And they still here. And it's like, I'm thinking about it now. It's like, yo, those people, yo.
Yeah, because they believe in like the future. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Bro, like, that's crazy.
I mean, although they can see, like, some of them, they clearly know that look at certain kids are like, you ain't gonna do nothing, man. Like, but they're not, you know, that's part of their job, you know, and you need to respect people. Like, I respect people like that who do jobs in general and know the consequences of their job. Those are just things that comes with the job and they don't complain about it.
Like, you know? Doctors, sometimes depending on the field you're in, but
yeah, but like
working in medicine is a noble thing. Like,
true, like
being in the hospital.
Like think about being like, I don't know if I could be comfortable subscribing a drug to somebody unless I really know what it is. Like, you ever have somebody come to you and be like, oh, you know, my throat, and you like recommend them to do something like drink a certain tea or whatever, you're like, oh shit, that might be too spicy, or like you get scared, like you're trying to kill them or whatever. You know what I mean?
And to know off the back, like, they be knowing, like,
yeah,
my elbow hurt, you'll need 3.
Yeah.
They be knowing. I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah.
Like, nah, it's alright. Since you came and told us, you good now. It's like, yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
But just to be in the hospital itself and to see all of the things that they see, like, it's crazy. That shit'll make me, like, it's such a depressing thing. That and working in fucking funeral homes and shit, like the people that fucking the coroners and shit.
Yeah.
You're around dead bodies all day.
Yeah, but you have to find some certain way not to be depressed about it. I think most of the people who work there, they have to value that part of life. Because there's no way that you could just be comfortable putting makeup on a dead person. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Shit,
bro.
like, if I see a
shit.
dead body in the water and somebody's like, yo, you gotta help me put it out, I would, like, can we just call 911? Like,
that seems like such a different thing.
I'm not touching that, like.
To let alone, like, really dress it up for the family and to, like, really get in detail, like, oh no, it has to be presented.
Yeah, you have to
do all of that.
There's no way that you probably have to be the happiest person alive. Like, you would not know that person does that kind of job, because there's no way you can't be depressed doing that. Like, you can't. You can't be. No.
I don't even like my life.
No, you can't. There's no way. You can't do that.
Like, imagine the fucking interview for that job.
Like life has to, like, death has to be so beautiful for you to be doing that job. Like, it's like, oh, Brown had a great life. You know, you dress him up. He was always such a gentleman. You know, I give him a nice suit. And,
for me, I feel like that shit is so hard. Come on, boss. Pause it.
Yeah, I'm watching, like, you gotta be mad serious.
They was thinking the same thing. I was
like, yo, does he know what he's gonna ask? Like,
with Clay, I had a whole list and shit.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, like, yo, Clay, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say that. But then I had watched an episode of Joe recently, and he was just like, yo, like, all the other podcasts out there, like, you know, it's a fucking process. Like, you can't be doing it. That's what made me think of the longevity thing, because he was like, you can't be doing it trying to expect views. Like, oh, I'm gonna put this podcast out, people gonna watch it and shit. Mm-hmm. You gotta put it out to really more access, like, show, like, your growth, and, like, really, it helps you. It's therapeutic and shit like that. And the more real you become and the more organic the conversations become, people read into that. And that's when you start to see a change in the audience and shit like that. But you just focus on the conversation and keep doing it and keep putting out videos, and then before you know it, shit like that.
Yeah, people gravitate to it.
That's why I'm like, yo, you know what? Fuck that shit. I'm gonna just
do it.
Have my boys pull up. We're gonna be talking, chilling, smoking, and we're gonna just keep pulling shits out. And before you know, I'll be on episode 200, 300. Things gonna change, and then bam.
Different background.
But you know what it is? It's been episode 7, I want to say. Alright, it's been episode 7. Low frequency. Love you guys for tuning in. Subscribe. My boy Diego came through. Check me. Feel me? I hope you guys love what you heard. And we out this bitch.